Well, how will you ring in the new year? If you don't know yet, there are a number of events happening across South Mississippi. Recently, we reported a national shortage of priests in the United States. News 25's Ashley Fortenberry spoke with two local faces today about the decline in vocations and their journey to the priesthood. State officials joined the public today for a ribbon cutting at Stennis Airport as the facility adds a state-of-the-art hangar. The $5 million project will add some high-paying jobs to the Gulf Coast. To help learn about mental health, students at Gulfport High School decided to invite some furry friends to class today. Governor Tate Reeves' request for individual and public assistance for counties affected by Hurricane Ida has been approved by President Biden. Public assistance for local governments and nonprofits were approved for 19 counties, including George, Hancock, Harrison, Jackson, and Pearl River counties locally. Also, Hancock, Harrison, Jackson, and Pearl River residents have been approved for individual assistance, which can include grants for temporary housing, home repairs, low-cost loans to cover uninsured property losses, and other recovery programs. You can call 1-800-621-3362 or register for assistance online at disasterassistance.gov. Despite ongoing appeals to donors and the public, the American Red Cross emergency blood and platelet shortage continues. Red Cross is asking donors of all blood types, especially type O, and platelet donors to donate. To encourage more donors, Red Cross is offering $5 Zaxby gift cards as well as $5 gift cards to one of the many locations available on the Red Cross website. Starting November 1st through the 12th, those who donate will automatically be entered to win a trip for two to Hawaii. All who donate from November 1st through the 23rd will receive a $10 Amazon gift card by email. Harrison Central High School was put on lockdown today due to a shooting threat placed on social media. The threat is a Snapchat post that says gunfire will be released at 10:30 a.m. on Friday and that 20 students and 4 administrators will be shot. The school went into a standard protocol lockdown because of the threat, which means no person could enter or leave the building until it was lifted. Sheriff's deputies arrived to investigate and deemed the threat was not credible. Similar threats have been going around schools across the country as well, with the image being copied and edited with different school names. The Nature Conservancy is launching a pilot oyster shell recycling program that will use oyster shells collected from local restaurants. Currently, most of the used oyster shells are being discarded without reuse and are ultimately a lost resource that could be utilized for restoration. The collected oyster shells will become a valuable attachment surface for baby oysters to grow. Recycling used oyster shells can be placed in water for oyster larvae to grow on and produce new oysters. TNC's Director of Marine Programs, Tom Moman, tells News 25 this is a way to connect restaurant patrons to the resources. Well, the city of Gaucher makes a big purchase, the former Singing River Mall property. The city closed on the purchase today. The 55-acre parcel will be revitalized as a town center with a vision of shops, dining, business, and live entertainment. To help with the purchase, the city was awarded $3.5 million in Gulf Coast Restoration Fund monies and $1.5 million from the state legislature's bond bill. The former mall was demolished back in 2014. The city has a preliminary development agreement with Blackwater Development. Girls at Gulfport High School are getting a first-hand lesson in finance thanks to a partnership with Hancock Whitney and a national nonprofit. The students recently took a field trip to Hancock Whitney headquarters in downtown Gulfport as part of their Rock the Street, Wall Street curriculum. The girls got to tour areas of the bank and joining a panel discussion with female bank executives about their careers in the industry. Rock the Street's mission is to create interest in banking or math-related fields among female students. And the partnership with Gulfport High is the first time it's been available in Mississippi. Nationally, more than 3,000 girls have gone through the Rock the Street program.
WXXV News 25, your local choice.
Good evening and welcome to News 25 at 5:30. I'm Lori Buhring. The victim of the deadly Sunday shooting in Gulfport has been identified by Harrison County Coroner Brian Switzer. Switzer identified the man as 24-year-old Kevon Edwards of Gulfport, who police say was shot multiple times. The shooting happened around 5:45 last night near 43rd Avenue, close to Milner Stadium. If that sounds familiar, that's because it's not far from the site of another shooting that injured someone in that area just 5 days earlier on Northward Drive. An autopsy is expected tomorrow to determine how a Jackson County inmate died. In the meantime, the Jackson County Coroner's Office is looking for the Mobile man's relatives so they can release his identity. As we've reported, the man was arrested in Pascagoula Saturday for public drunkenness. According to Jackson County Sheriff Mike Ezel, the man was found unresponsive in the jail later that night. Despite life-saving efforts, the inmate died. The man was also wanted on a felony warrant in Mobile. One person is injured after a boiler explosion in Collins, Mississippi. Collins Fire Chief John Pope says the department received reports around 9:30 today about a boiler room explosion at a feed mill operated by Sanderson Farms. Chief Pope says one person was reported to be injured and taken to a local hospital. That person's condition not known yet. Minimal damage was caused to the warehouse facility, but was taken offline while the incident is being investigated by a safety team. Police in Jackson, Mississippi say a man who confessed to setting a house on fire in which 3 people died has been charged with 3 counts of capital murder as well as arson. The fire happened last week at a personal care home. According to the Mississippi Department of Health, the facility was operating without a license. Police arrested Charles Robinson III and charged him with arson and 3 counts of capital murder. They say he told them he intentionally set the fire, but he wouldn't tell them why. The deputy fire chief says there was reportedly an issue between Robinson and those killed, but wasn't able to go into detail. We're told the suspect started the fire by lighting an oven mitt and throwing it under a couch inside the home. Robinson is being held without bond. And here's meteorologist Brantley Kike with a quick look at your weather. Last show looked pretty good for the next few days. Not winter wonderland though.
Yeah, it's not.
Promising the federal government will do everything it can to help victims of Friday's tornado outbreak, President Biden says he will soon see the devastation in person. Severe storms spawned more than 30 tornadoes across the Southeast and Midwest, killing at least 60 people. With more on the federal government's response, here's Chris Pallone. Comeback Coolers is receiving a donation of 500 coolers from Hood Containers based in Texas. News 25's Sabria Reed is live in Ocean Springs as they prepare for the large delivery. Sabria, what's this all about? The village of Old D'Iberville is back for the 4th year in a row. Over the years, residents have seen it grow to a Christmas tradition. News 25's Ashley Fortenberry has the story. Wreaths Across America started in 1992 with a trailer load of wreaths decorated by volunteers and laid at the graves of fallen soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery. It has now become a national organization with over 2,500 participating locations. This Saturday, Long Beach, Mississippi's American Legion Post 1995 and Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3937 will participate in the National Wreaths Across America program at the Long Beach City Cemetery. The ceremony will include participation from the West Harrison High School JROTC Color Guard, the Long Beach High School Chorus, a Naval Construction Battalion Center chaplain delivering the invocation, a keystone speech by Long Beach Mayor George Bass, and taps performed by members of the Long Beach High School Band.
Thousands of wreaths will be laid. I think it's a fitting way at Christmas time, particularly for families to, appreciate their veterans. And although we have Memorial Day and Veterans Day, this is a good time because families get together and this should be part of the memories.
The ceremony is open to the public and volunteers are needed. Youth for Christ wants you to join them for a night of fellowship and hockey this Friday. They've had successful hockey nights with the Seawolves in the past and are hoping to help bring hockey back to the coast by attracting a large crowd to this week's second exhibition game at the Coast Coliseum. Youth for Christ will be hosting on-site activities beginning at 6 this Friday night at the Coliseum. There will be a pre-game concert, inflatable games, and Seawolves memorabilia for auction all before the puck drops at 7:05. Youth for Christ strives to bring children closer to Christ through its family-friendly events. Coming up, Brantley will have a full forecast after the break. Plus, Harrah's Gulf Coast donated money to Mississippi Centers for Autism and Related Developmental Disabilities. More on that coming up.